Hello and welcome back to Princess Evangile. The next day at lunch, Ayaka-san and I met up in the hallway and headed for the dining hall together. We'd eaten together many times before, but this was our first time meeting up to do it. It seemed only natural now that we were properly dating. When I came to school this morning, I found my shoebox crammed full of letters. It was a real shock. Huh? You mean love letters? What are you getting all upset about? They're all from girls, naturally. Oh. Yeah, of course. Were they actually love letters then? Well, I guess you could say that. They didn't contain love confessions or anything like that, but it's more like they were sad to see that I was dating you. I'm not sure why they were sad. Personally, I prefer it if they congratulated me, but... That's because you've got a lot of secret fans. Oh, Tammy. Tell me a little about how you feel right now. What's it like, finally getting the guy you wanted? Oh, for heaven's sake, at least wait until we're finished eating. Tammy-san put her microphone away obediently and sat down next to Ayaka-san. Anyway, I told you before that you had a lot of secret fans. Oh? Is that why they can't just be happy for me? Well, something like that. The sudden realization that they can never have you fills them with regret. That's human psychology. I guess so. Well, no big deal. By the way, did you get any Masaya-kun? I assumed you'd get a whole pile of them. No, I didn't get a single one. Really? That's a little surprising. Masaya-san acted indifferent after the photo exhibition, and you've always been surrounded by an army of Venice's most beautiful girls. Maybe they'd already given up hope. I see. Well, it was Rice who brought him in the first place. You're a pretty lucky guy, you know. But you're the most beautiful of them all, Ayaka-san. Oh my. Whoa! Came right out there and said it. Yeah, it's not... That's like basic entry-level grovelling. And I know some people call it giving a woman a compliment. No, it's grovelling. It is a very special form of grovelling, and there are some people who are just really good at it. I am not one of them. I am a medium skill level groveller. There are times when I can really pull off some excellent grovelling, but it's tricky. It's all about finding the perfect balance between too much and not enough. Well, she is my girlfriend. So tell me how it feels to get the most beautiful girl in the world. Would you please wait until we're finished eating? Oh, fine, I guess then I'll eat. You certainly do make a show of eating. You're getting broth everywhere. I think that ramen is best when eaten so that it gets the broth on everything. What are you talking about? Well, you refine certain special skills as a journalist. Being able to eat food extremely fast is extremely useful. And as she spoke, Tammy-san finished off her 5 treasures stir-fry soup in the blink of an eye. And then we moved elsewhere so that we could have a serious interview. God, you really do run a gossip rag, don't you, Tammy? What are you blushing about all of a sudden? Oh, nothing. I was remembering that we had kissed here last night. I cleared my throat and I took a seat. Are you going to write an article about this? I pronounced that in a really weird way. Of course! Oh, and I'll let you see the draft so you can make corrections if you want. Huh? Now, tell me honestly how you feel. Right. I guess it's a little like being reborn. How do you mean? I've always been so happy-go-lucky, but I feel like I've found something to make me go straight. I think that everyone here at Venice's has changed a little since we decided to accept Masaya-kun as one of us. But I think, just maybe, I'm the one who's changed the most. And as she spoke, she turned to me and gave me a wink. We usually get the approval rating survey on Mondays, and I guess we won't get the results about yesterday right away. For the Athletics Festival? That's true. We will likely won't see a reaction until next week. I can't wait. The Athletics Festival was such a success. That's right. I'd been completely wrapped up in my own affairs, but the Athletics Festival had been a big success too. And despite the huge turnout from outsiders, there had been no particular trouble, and everyone had been excited to see the public 10,000 metre race. I hope we win. Ayaka-san propped her chin up on one hand and began to thoughtfully draw circles on the table with her finger. Oh, I left it downstairs. Sorry, that was my iPad binging to tell me I had a message. I was waiting for the same message to crop up on my phone, but it's downstairs on charge. This is the last of the real events too. Yes, but I believe we can win. Right. Hey, Sekun, are you free this Sunday? Well, of course. It occurred to me that since coming to Venice's, I'd never gone out on a Saturday. Oh, sorry, she said Saturday, not Sunday. I was wondering if you'd go out somewhere with me. Sure, where to? The graveyard. Well, that's not creepy at all. It was such a strange request that it was a while before I could answer her. Your mum's grave, you mean? Maybe it went without saying. Ayaka-san nodded. I want to introduce her to my boyfriend. Actually, that's just a joke. To be honest, I've never visited a grave. Not even on the anniversary of her death. I see. It's a complicated feeling, and I don't have a single memory of her. I don't feel any connection to her as a mother. Adultery. Knowing she was the kind of person who would do that turned me off the whole thing. But now I'm thinking I shouldn't let something like that bother me. Maybe it turned her off because she had feared that she shared the same quality. In that case, it seemed like visiting her mother's grave was a sign of her personal growth. Okay, Saturday then? Right. Sorry to ask you to do something so boring with me. No, I was free either way. I'll think of it as a date. That's a pretty morbid date. Okay, then we'll head out to school after lunch. Roger that. Yeah, I'll freely admit, it's kind of a weird date. And so, the day of our date arrived. We finished eating, changed, and headed for the gate. And I didn't usually have business down this way, so it had been a while since we walked the path. A figure moved out in front of the gate quickly. Hmm? Oh, it's you, Ayaka. Salutations. I thought he'd been awfully quiet for a while. Going out again? Yes, going out again. And you're going with her, Okanoki Masaya? Yes. Go on, I know there's nothing I can do to stop you anyway. I'm sorry. Anyway, salutations. Ayaka-san smiled brightly, or at least as brightly as she could. I see, so that's how you keep getting out. Right. After all, I didn't have a lot to do here before you came along. Although there wasn't much fun to do when I went out either. What did you do out there? Nothing. I look at clothes, see movies. It was pretty boring to do it by myself. Who doesn't like going to the cinema by themselves? Oh, don't get me wrong, it's better with friends, but let's face it, my perfect time in the cinema, or the most fun I've ever had in a cinema, was when I was literally the only person in that screening. Now, it helped that the film was Pacific Rim, which is a really good film that I really like, but yeah, I was the only one in that cinema. This is the perk of going to the first showing of the day. Nice and quiet. None of the rest of that pesky human race business to worry about. Oh, well, after we visit her grave, do you want to have a proper date? Sure, let's do it. We got off the bus at the station and transferred to another, and all in all the trip took us about an hour. It was Saturday, and the weather was nice, but the graveyard was deserted, and a cold wind blew through the gravestones. We were close to November, and it felt like autumn was taking a deeper hold. Winter was coming. Sorry. I couldn't really resist the Game of Thrones reference, could I? Come on, that was way too easy. Ayaka-san started walking around, holding the flowers that she'd brought to the temple. Okay, that should either be brought to the temple or bought at the temple. Where was it again? I came here once before, a long time ago. Take your time to find it, there's no need to rush. Right. In the end, we had to check them each individually, and it took us more than 10 minutes before we found it. and the name, Sakai Tomi, was carved into the gravestone. Normally, it would have been a family grave, but this has just her own name on it. Sakai was my father's old surname. He took mother's name after their marriage, which meant that despite Tomi-san's indiscretions, she would remain married to him until the day she had died. This grave just has her name on it. I guess they couldn't put her in the family grave for some reason. I don't know for sure though. There's something a little lonely about it. Yeah, feels like she was driven here alone, because she had nowhere else to go. It's dirty, I had to clean it off. Ayaka-san walked off to gather some water, and I placed a hand on the stone surface, and when I lifted it my fingertips were blackened. It was like nobody had visited the grave, and I felt a renewed sense of loneliness about it. After cleaning off the grave, Ayaka-san spent a long time in front of it, her hands clasped together, and seeing her from behind, hunched over, she looked smaller than usual. Lonely from behind was the expression that came to mind. I'd felt the same way on the day of the athletics festival, when I reached the guardian tree. Her back couldn't hide her feelings the way her face could. She was transparent like this. Maybe that was why she seemed so lonely. Okay, let's go. Sure. We were walking back side by side when I spoke up. Ayaka-san, I swear I'm going to make you happy. I know it's sudden, but is that a proposal? Oh, no. I didn't mean... What? Don't be so wishy-washy. She poked me in the side. It's just... I was thinking... All I want is to make this person happy. You make me sound like a tragic beauty. That's actually kind of what I've been thinking, so I couldn't think of a response. I just smiled awkwardly. Of course, the main reason was simply that I loved her. Hey, aren't you going to make a comment about me referring to myself as a beauty? No, you're right after all. But I am happy. I feel like I've been looking for someone like you my whole life. Look, I said it as a joke, but why don't we make it true? Huh? Ayaka-san took my arm and pulled me back to the gravestone. I think I will introduce you to my mom, and let her know that you're my boyfriend. We left the temple and wandered around the station without any destination in particular. Well, it's hard to find destinations when you don't have eyes! I still maintain that's a really weird artistic choice, and it wouldn't be quite as bad if they were at least consistent with it, but they're really, really not. Anyway, it's fun to be here with a date. Just walking around is fun. Yeah. It really was boring before. The things that made it hard for me to fit in at Finis's made it hard for me to find friends outside too. Maybe I should have just gotten a pen pal like Ritsuku. It's rare in this day and age though, sending letters instead of emails. But it's the kind of thing she'd do. Oh hey! That's the lingerie shop we all went to before. She smiled and hugged my arm a little tighter. As she did, my arm brushed against her soft chest. Wanna have another look? By yourself? What? You're not coming with me? Yeah, I didn't like the way the shop clerks looked at me last time. I don't think that's because there was a man there. I think it was seeing one man with 4 women that made them scowl at you. Really? They were like, who is this playboy, I guess? So if we went in as a proper couple, I don't think they'd treat you that way. Yeah, they probably would, to be honest. Yeah, maybe so, but there's still something weird about a guy busting into a woman's underwear store, I think. Oh, come on. Lots of girls want to make sure they buy something their boyfriend likes. Do couples really go to stores like that? I don't know. But if you wanted to... No. I like the ordinary stuff. Really? It's what's underneath that matters to me. I see. Do you not like pervy guys? I don't like pervy guys. But I might like a pervy guy if he's you, Miss Aircoon. Has anybody else completely lost track of this conversation? You're blushing. So are you. I guess I am. And her chest shook as she laughed. She pressed it further against my arm. At last I spoke up. Ayaka-san, it's touching. She seemed amused by something. What is? Your chest. Oh, you really think I didn't know that? You mean you were doing that intentionally? Of course I was. As she spoke, she pulled on my arm a little more, and I felt it sink into the deep softness. Is it okay? We are dating now, after all. Yeah, of course it is. Do you remember the first time we linked arms like this? I couldn't remember right away. I was sure I'd felt this somewhere before, but it was at the summer festival. Because it was a date. Right. That's right, we did do that. I mean, I was so happy that we got to go on this date today. Here, let's link arms. Huh? Arms? It's a date after all, we can do that much. That was just like when I held your hand. I was trying to get my feelings of love through to you, but... Do you think I'm a shameless woman? Not really. I think it's okay as long as you're doing it out of love. And I'm back to my previous comment is, okay, here's the thing. If you are a quote-unquote shameless woman, as you put it, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay? Good. Yeah. I guess you really are worried about that kind of thing, aren't you? She thought a moment, and then nodded. So you don't want to do stuff like sex? Now that we were dating, it was important that I asked her these things up front. No! No, it's not! You can get to that stuff in its own time. You don't have to establish ground rules. Oh god, I need a drink. I swear to god, one of these days I am going to do a Let's Play where I just get drunk off my arse. Hell, for a laugh, I might make it a Patreon reward. Yeah. Price of game plus bottle of vodka. Anywho, she thought it again, and this time shook her head. How to put it? Because of what happened between my parents, I don't want to do anything disloyal. Disloyal? Cheating and adultery and stuff. One of the main reasons I rebelled against Mother was because of things like that. Do you remember what I said this morning? I called her a homewrecker. I remember. You were pretty intense that morning. It was a mean thing to say, but that's how I felt. Mother snared Dad through an adulterous relationship. I guess that must sound pretty prudish right now. Despite appearances, you're pretty pure too, Ayaka-san. Oh, really? Oh, it's true that you are my first boyfriend. My first and final love. Is it funny to say something like that? Well, it's very, very naive, but... let's face it. I don't doubt that there are some people who, do genuinely fall in love when they're teenagers and stay together forever. It's probably pretty damn rare, especially these days, but I'm willing to bet it does still happen. Now, whether you two actually have a chance in hell, yeah, I'm not going there, because frankly, yeah, I'm not convinced you do. Sorry. What could I say? I'm a cynical bastard. Funny. Why? It's just such a maidenly thing to say. Of course Ayaka-san was a maiden. I'm a guy, but I feel the same way. You did promise at the grave that you'd make me happy. Yes. Well, you seem like a sincere kind of guy, so I think it'll work out. But for the longest time I thought you were the aimless type. I was afraid of that. You knew? Well, it was easy when all my closest friends were beautiful women. I had a hard time picking, huh? I nodded. But I know I can't go on like that. That's why I decided to stop being aimless. Don't forget that determination, okay? Yeah, I'll try not to forget. Ah, we're on the 30th now, okay. So we're on the 23rd before. On Monday, we had our weekly presentation of the survey results. It was our first approval rating survey that took the Athletics Festival into account, so my hopes were high. Now, to present the results. We've had a huge increase, with 138 votes on our side. Wow. Whoa. Whoa. Wow. We all shouted out at once. I'm sorry. The way they were all saying, whoa, I ended up watching Finding Nemo fairly recently, so my brain's just going, what? You were all like, whoa! Then he was all like, whoa! Then you were like, whoa. Alright. That's amazing. That's our first increase throughout the whole second term. Yes, this has to be from the Athletics Festival. It's great. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. The White Lily Society is really struggling. What do you mean struggling? We're just getting started. But you only have 138 votes. Still a long way from the 232 you need for the majority. Aww. Well, it's true that it'll be a hard fight. The only event we have left is the Chant de Noël in December. The Chant de Noël? What's that? Well, I'm assuming it's something Christmas related. I think it's the Christmas Carol in English. We sing songs and stuff. It's mostly just a Christmas party. Oh, so nobody dresses up... Nobody does the full Scrooge. Seriously, greatest Christmas film ever made. Muppets Christmas Carol. I'm not budging on this point. It is the best Christmas film ever made. Though admittedly, you can't get a proper version of it. Because for some stupid reason on the DVD version, they took out one of the songs because it was too sad. Despite the fact that that is meant to be an extremely sad scene. Anyway, sorry, I'll try not to rant too much about how much I love Muppets Christmas Carol and how much they screwed it over by taking out that song. Wow, I did not know that you did that. Well, it's technically a mission school after all. We can't just skip Christmas. So it's on the 24th. Nope, we'll be on winter vacation by the 24th. This year it's... when's it again? Ayaka-san turned to Ritsuki-chan. The 17th. I'm not surprised you don't remember, sister. Well, I know it's the event everyone looks forward to. I never had much interest in it myself. But this year it should have some meaning to you. Huh? Because Mesaya-sama is here. Ayaka-san looked rather taken aback. I wasn't sure what Chant de Noël was exactly, so the exchange was impenetrable to me. So I could speak. What about me exactly? Chant de Noël contains an event known as the Thème de Confession. Oh? It means the time of confession. Time of confession? At Chant de Noël, we gather in the cathedral and exchange rosaries in front of everyone with the person we care about. That is the custom known as the Thème de Confession. Girls of Venice really like traditions like that, huh? They do. I've never seen it, since I've never had much interest in who was hooking up with whom. But I see. This year... She murmured, and then turned to gaze into my eyes. You got a rosary when you first came here, right? You know, I think I did. I was pretty sure it had come in a clasped case of some sort. I'd shoved it somewhere at my desk. Sister, do you still have your rosary? Probably. It's not like I had anyone to exchange it with. Then it's perfect, isn't it? I nodded. Well, you want to take part in the tempted thing? Ayaka-san seemed unusually hesitant. What? You don't want to? Might it be that you've lost your rosary? I'm sure I didn't lose it. Might be a little mouldy. Don't say something so sacrilegious. But sister, you don't want to take part. You don't like events like that? No, it's just I feel like I wouldn't belong. What do you mean? Confessing in front of an audience means that the Thème de Confession is at least partially about putting on a show for the people. But more than that... More than that? So people can congratulate them, right? So what? I'm not sure if they would for me. What do you mean? You think people wouldn't be happy for you? She nodded. Why? It's obvious. You're such a wonderful man, Ayaka-sama would be made the object of tremendous jealousy. Well, there's that too. That was a joke, of course. Even though she put it behind her when you arrived, my sister does have a history of mischief. Mischief? Do you remember what happened at the Evening Star Gathering? She'd been teasing someone, and Ritsuki-chan had scalded her forehead. Well, you haven't done much of that since you began your third year, so I do not believe there should be any cause for concern. Anyway, it's a special occasion. As long as we're together for it, we should take part. That's true. If you want to, Masaya-kun, I will. sure. And maybe the people will be so happy for us that it raises the White Lily Society's approval rating. That might be asking too much. What a mean thing to say. But if the White Lily Society loses, it might make it easier for you to see Masaya-san after you graduate. I tensed up for a moment. The subject of Ayaka-san's graduation seemed to be one that she didn't like people to touch on. But Ayaka-san's expression went unchanged. Oh, I think it'll be the same in the end. As a former student, I can come and go as I please, can't I? I think it would be better for you to enjoy your college life properly. What a mean thing to say. As the days passed, I started slowly to become conscious of timing. Timing for my first sexual experience with Ayaka-san. Trust me, dude, just let it happen at the right moment. Don't try and plan it, don't try and prepare for it, because all that's going to do is raise your expectations. Don't do it. Just, let it happen. Don't try and plan ahead. I'm not kidding. It'll end badly. No matter how pure I was, I still wanted to do it with the girl that I loved. But even though we were officially a couple now, things had never gone that way with Ayaka-san. We'd held hands and linked arms and kissed from time to time. It had never gone past those light touches. There had never been any kind of seductive air about us, the need for our bodies to become one. I knew the reason why, we'd talked about it before. Okay, when the time comes, I'll be the one to say it. Please do. In other words, Ayaka-san was waiting for me to be the one to bring it up. I knew that, but at the same time I didn't have any experience with saying such things. So it stayed on my mind constantly, until one day... Oh, that's right. Hey, Masako, about the 24th of this month. It's my birthday. Oh, really? I almost dropped my spoon. It's pretty thoughtless of me not to have learned her birthday before now. Happy birthday. Thanks. I guess I'm 1 year closer to becoming an old lady. I think the real old ladies would get mad if they heard you say that. Does that mean? Huh? Is your birthday in November? Yeah, what about it? Sorry, I think my nose is starting to get slightly gunged up. That's annoying. Yeah. Well, it's just for some reason I thought you were born around April. What's that supposed to mean? Maybe I just got some bad information from someone. I don't remember for sure, but somehow I'd gotten the impression that Ayaka-san was born in April. I'm not sure why. My birthday's November 24th, I'm pretty sure of that. I nodded. Then we have to celebrate. Thanks. Is there anything you'd want for a present? Nothing in particular. I'd rather have a memory than something physical. I'd like it if we could spend all day together on the 24th. Right. Oh, I know. I looked around the room. It was lunchtime, so naturally the dining hall was full of people. And I suggested that we take our trays out to the rose garden. It would be crowded with people during the warmer seasons, but for now it was perfectly quiet. What's going on? Listen, Ayaka-san. What? About your present. Right. I looked around again. There was no one there. Okay. This was my chance to say it. But whatever he's going to say, I'm afraid he'll be saying it in the next part. So, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next part.